Announcer bot is active. Danny van Rooyen from Netherlands in start-finish is P2. Sean Olivier from South Africa in start-finish is P4. Tommy Glad from South Africa in start-finish is 11th. The qualification session is at Killarney International Raceway in Cape Town, South Africa. The wind speed is 6 km/h from the north-northeast. Mike McDear from Ireland in Continental is P16. From South Africa is P7. Danny van Rooyen from Netherlands in start-finish is second. Danny Van Ruyen is up 8.82 in kink. Danny Van Ruyen is up 8.82 in static. Danny Van Ruyen improved his first with a 1:14.624. Gerhard Niemann from South Africa in start-finish is P7. Lyle Ramsey in start-finish is P10. Lyle Ramsey improved his P7 with a 1:15.722. 1.098 off pole. Sean Olivier from South Africa in Castrol is P4 up 0.28. Sean Olivier is up 0.38 in back straight. Sean Olivier is up 0.49 in start finish. Sean Olivier improved his P2 with a 1:14.739. 0.115 off pole. Michael Rust from Namibia in start finish is P14. Michael Rust improved his P11 with a 1:15.921. 1.297 off pole. Constant de la Porte from Italy in Savat is P13 up 0.37. Constant de la Porte is up 0.24 in start finish. Constant de la Porte improved his P11 with a 1:15.741. 1.117 off pole. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Mike McDeer is P16. Mike McDeer improved his 16th with a 1:15.021. 0.397 off pole. Dylan Visagi from South Africa in start finish is 7th. Dylan Visagi improved his third with a 1:14.936. 0.312 off pole. Ryan van der Westhuizen from South Africa in Continental is P17. Brendan Gryasel from South Africa in Malmesbury Straight is 7th up 0.16. Janine Glad from South Africa in Savat is P13 up 0.17. Tommy Glad from South Africa in Stanek is P10 up 0.29. Janine Glad in Stanek is P13 up 0.10. Mike McGear in Castrol is P16 up 0.14. Willie Van Wyck from Namibia is 11th up 0.12. Sean Olivier in Volkswagen is 2nd up 0.13. Willie Van Wyck in Malmesbury Strait is P11 up 0.10. Sean Olivier in Stanek is P2 up 0.10. Janine Glad in Malmesbury Strait is 13th up 0.12. Best lap is a 1:15.797. 1.173 off pole. Michael Rust from Namibia in start finish is 14th up 0.17. Michael Rust improved his P12 with a 1:15.705. 1.081 off pole. Constant de la Porte in start finish is P13. Constant de la Porte improved his 11th with a 1:15.610. 0.986 off pole. Brendan Gryasel is 7th up 0.11. Constant de la Porte in Castrol is 11th up 0.34. Ryan van der Westhuizen in Volkswagen is 17th up 0.13. Constant de la Porte in Volkswagen is P11 up 0.25. Janine Glad from South Africa in Malmesbury Strait is 14th up 0.14. Ernest Heather from South Africa in Sabat is P9 up 0.14. Ernest Heather is up 0.31 in start finish. Ernest Heather improved his 6th with a 1:15.059. 0.435 off pole. Constant de la Porte is 11th up 0.10. Best lap is a 1:15.610. 0.986 off pole. Ryan van der Westhuizen in Malmesbury Strait is P17 up 0.11. Best lap is a 1:15.468. 0.844 off pole. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Sean Olivier is 2nd. Ryan van der Westhuizen from South Africa is 17th. Danny van Rooyen is provisional pole with a 1:14.584. Ernest Heather is 6th. Best lap is a 1:14.986. 0.402 off pole. Brendan Gryasel in Volkswagen is P8 up 0.16. Best lap is a 1:15.274. 0.690 off pole. Brendan Gryasel is up 0.17 in Stanek. Tommy Glad from South Africa in Castrol is P9 up 0.15. Willie Van Wyck in back straight is P12 up 0.10. Best lap is a 1:15.616. 1.032 off pole. Ernest Heather in Continental is P5. Sean Olivier in Stanek is second up 0.10. Ryan van der Westhuizen is 11th up 0.12. Willie Van Wyck in Malmesbury Straight is 12th up 0.13. Willie Van Wyck is up 0.06 in Stanek. Ryan van der Westhuizen is 12th up 0.18. Ryan van der Westhuizen is up 0.34 in Malmesbury Straight. Brendan Gryasel in back straight is 9th up 0.22. Brendan Gryasel improved his 6th with a 1:15.013. 0.429 off pole. Danny van Ruyen from Netherlands in Stanek is P1 up 0.11. Sean Olivier in Stanek is P2 up 0.10. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Sean Olivier improved his second with a 1:14.712. 0.128 off pole. Mike McGear is P7. Mike McGear is up 0.02 in kink. Sean Olivier in Malmesbury Straight is second. Best lap is a 1:14.712. 0.128 off pole. Announcer bot is active. Ernest Heather from South Africa in start finish is 5th. Danny van Rooyen from Netherlands in start finish is P2. Mike McGear from Ireland in start finish is P9. The race session is at Killarney International Raceway in Cape Town, South Africa. The wind speed is 13 km/h from the northeast. Danny van Rooyen is first. Dylan Visagie from South Africa is second. Tihan van Rooyen from South Africa is P3. Gerhard Niemand from South Africa is fourth. Brendan Gryasel from South Africa is P5. Mike McGeer from Ireland is 6th. Lyle Ramsey from South Africa is 7th. Tommy Glad from South Africa is 8th. Jonathan Visser from South Africa is P9. Willie Van Wyk from Namibia is 10th. Ryan van der Westhuizen from South Africa is 11th. Constant de la Porte from Italy is P12. Michael Rust from Namibia is 13th. Janine Glad from South Africa is P14. Sean Olivier from South Africa is 16. Ernest Heather from South Africa is 17. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Dylan Visagi in Continental is P3. Tihan van Rooyen in Castrol is 4th. Tommy Glad entering the pits is 8th. Gerhard Niemand in Malmesbury Strait is 5th. Lyle Ramsey behind is on P2P. Dylan Visagi ahead is on P2P. Lyle Ramsey in back straight is 7th, 7P2P left. Ryan van der Westhuizen in start finish is P11. Tihan van Rooyen in Continental on lap 2 is P4, 0.1 behind Dylan Visagi. Tommy Glad exiting pits. Gerhard Niemand in Castrol is 5th, 0.3 behind Tihan van Rooyen. Lyle Ramsey in Malmesbury Strait on lap 2 is P7, 0.2 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Lyle Ramsey is on P3. Brendan Gryasel behind is on P2P. Ryan van der Westhuizen in back straight is 11th, 0.2 behind Willie Van Wyk. Tihan van Rooyen in start finish is P4, 7P2P left, 0.3 ahead of Dylan Visagi. Lyle Ramsey in Continental on lap 3 is P7, 6P2P left, 0.3 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Michael Rust is 13th, 7P2P left, 0.5 behind Constant de la Porte. Lyle Ramsey in Malmesbury Strait is P7, 0.3 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Gerhard Niemand ahead is on P2P. Lyle Ramsey is on P2P. Ryan van der Westhuizen from South Africa in back straight is P11, 7P2P left, 0.4 behind Willie Van Wyk. Tihan van Ruyen in start-finish is P4 6 P2 P left, 0.1 behind Dylan Visagie. Ryan van der Westhuizen in start-finish is 11th, 0.4 behind Willy van Wyk. Lyle Ramsey in Castrol is P7 5 P2 P left, 0.2 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Tihan van Ruyen in Malmesbury Straight on lap 4 is P4, 0.1 behind Dylan Visagie. Gerhard Niemand behind is on P2P. Tihan van Ruyen is on P2P. Lyle Ramsey in back straight is 7th. Best lap is a 1:15.445. 0.563 off the fastest lap. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Tihan van Ruyen in start finish is 4th 5 P2 P left, 0.1 behind Dylan Visagie. Gerhard Niemand is P5 6 P2 P left, 0.5 behind Tihan van Ruyen. Tihan van Ruyen in kink is 4th. Best lap is a 1:15.565. 0.683 off the fastest lap. Constant de la Porte in Malmesbury Straight is P12. Best lap is a 1:15.719. 0.837 off the fastest lap. Michael Rust behind is on P2P. Michael Rust in start finish on lap 5 is 13th 6 P2 P left, 0.5 behind Constant de la Porte. Constant de la Porte in Castrol is P12 7 P2 P left, 1.0 ahead of Michael Rust. Michael Rust was 0.8 faster last lap. Gerhard Niemand in Sabat is 5th 5 P2 P left, 0.2 behind Tihan van Ruyen. Lyle Ramsey behind is on P2P. Tihan van Ruyen ahead is on P2P. Constant de la Porte from Italy in back straight is 12th 6 P2 P left, 0.2 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Willy van Wyk entering the pits is P10. Michael Rust behind is on P2P. Willy van Wyk is P10. Willy van Wyk exiting pits. Constant de la Porte in Continental is P12, 0.4 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Gerhard Niemand in kink is 5th, 0.2 behind Tihan van Ruyen. Constant de la Porte from Italy in Malmesbury Straight is P12, 0.4 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Lyle Ramsey in Stanek is P70 P2 P left, 0.3 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Constant de Laporte in start-finish is 12, 0.3 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Gerhard Niemand is 5th, 4P2P left, 0.2 ahead of Tihan van Rooyen. Lyle Ramsey is P7. Best lap is a 1:15.365. 0.760 off the fastest lap. Constant de Laporte in Malmesbury Straight is P12, 0.5 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Constant de Laporte is on P2P. Gerhard Niemand in Stanek is 5th, 3P2P left, 0.2 ahead of Tihan van Rooyen. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Lyle Ramsey in start-finish is 7th, 0.1 behind Brendan Gryasel. Michael Rust is P13, 4P2P left, 0.5 behind Constant de Laporte. Lyle Ramsey on lap 9 is P7, 0.3 ahead of Brendan Gryasel. Brendan Gryasel behind is on P2P. Michael Rust in Sabat is P13, 0.4 behind Constant de Laporte. Lyle Ramsey from South Africa in Stanek is 7th, 0.4 behind Brendan Gryasel. Constant de Laporte is 12th, 4P2P left, 0.8 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Constant de Laporte is on P2P. Lyle Ramsey is P7, 0.5 behind Brendan Gryasel. Brendan Gryasel ahead is on P2P. Constant de Laporte in Stanek is 12th, 3P2P left, 0.8 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Constant de Laporte is on P2P. Lyle Ramsey in Continental is 7th, 0.5 behind Brendan Gryasel. Constant de Laporte in Malmesbury Straight is P12, 2P2P left, 0.6 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Ryan van der Westhuizen ahead is on P2P. Constant de la Porte is on P2P. Michael Ruskin start finish is 13th 2P left, 1.2 behind Constant de la Porte. Constant de la Porte from Italy in Castrol is P12 1P2P left, 0.7 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Michael Rust behind is on P2P. Michael Rust in back straight is 13th 1P2P left, 1.1 behind Constant de la Porte. Constant de la Porte in Continental is P12, 0.9 behind Ryan van der Westhuizen. Michael Rust in Malmesbury Straight is 13th, 0.8 behind Constant de la Porte. The leader has just finished the race. Danny van Rooyen from Netherlands finished P2. Sean Olivier finished 16th. Dylan Bizaji finished P3. Mike McGear finished 1st. Gerhard Niemann finished P5. Ernest Heather finished 17th. Ryan van der Westhuizen finished 11th. Constant de la Porte finished 12th. Michael Rust finished 13th. Tihan van Rooyen finished 4th. Brendan Gryasel finished P6. Janine Glad finished P14. Lyle Ramsey finished 7th. Willie Van Wyck finished P10. Tommy Glad finished 8th. Announcer bot is active. The race session is at Killarney International Raceway in Cape Town, South Africa. The wind speed is 3 km/h from the north-northeast. Tihan van Rooyen is first. Michael Rust from Namibia is second. Constant de la Porte from Italy is third. Ryan van der Westhuizen from South Africa is P4. Ernest Heather from South Africa is P5. Gerhard Niemann from South Africa is 6th. Mike McGeer from Ireland is 7th. Dylan Visagi from South Africa is P8. Sean Olivier from South Africa is 9th. Danny van Rooyen from Netherlands is 10th. Brendan Gryasel from South Africa is P11. Lyle Ramsey from South Africa is 12th. Willie van Wyk from Namibia is P13. Tommy Glad from South Africa is P14. Jonathan Visser from South Africa is P15. Janine Glad from South Africa is 17. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Briasel in Continental is 11. Lyle Ramsey in Castrol is 12. Lyle Ramsey is on P2P. Brendan Briasel ahead is on P2P. Tommy Glad behind is on P2P. Mike McGear is 7th. Lyle Ramsey in start finish is 12th, 7 P2P left. Lyle Ramsey is on P2P. Ernest Heather in Continental is 5th, 7 P2P left, 3.5 behind Gerhard Niemann. Tommy Glad entering the pits is P14. Constant de la Porte in Castrol is P3. Ernest Heather in Sabat is P5, 3.5 behind Gerhard Niemann. Ryan van der Westhuizen behind is on P2P. Mike McGear in start finish on lap 3 is 7th, 7 P2P left, 1.1 ahead of Gerhard Niemann. Ernest Heather is 5th, 3.5 behind Gerhard Niemann. Gerhard Niemann was 1.2 faster last lap. Mike McGear in back straight is P7, 6 P2P left, 0.6 ahead of Gerhard Niemann. Ernest Heather in Stanek is P5, 6 P2P left, 3.5 behind Gerhard Niemann. Mike McGear in Continental is 7th, 0.4 ahead of Gerhard Niemann. Constant de la Porte is 3rd, 7 P2P left. Ernest Heather from South Africa in Volkswagen is 5th, 3.5 behind Gerhard Niemann. Ryan van der Westhuizen ahead is on P2P. Mike McGear in back straight is 7th, 0.4 ahead of Gerhard Niemann. Mike McGear is on P2P. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Constant de la Porte in Stanek is P3. Mike McGear is 7th 5 P2P left, 0.3 behind Gerhard Niemand. Sean Olivier exiting pits. Dylan Visagi is P8 5 P2P left battling Mike McGear. Gerhard Niemand ahead is on P2P. Mike McGear ahead is on P2P. Danny van Rooyen from Netherlands in back straight is P10 4 P2P left, 0.8 behind Sean Olivier. Danny van Rooyen is on P2P. Dylan Visagi in start finish is 8th 4 P2P left, 0.2 behind Mike McGear. Constant de Laporte is 3rd, 0.6 ahead of Michael Rust. Dylan Visagi in Sabat is 8th, 0.3 ahead of Mike McGear. Dylan Visagi was 1.4 faster last lap. Dylan Visagi is on P2P. Danny van Rooyen in start finish is 10th 3 P2P left, 0.7 behind Sean Olivier. Dylan Visagi from South Africa in Continental is 8th 3 P2P left, 0.4 ahead of Mike McGear. Constant de Laporte in kink is P3, 0.7 ahead of Michael Rust. Dylan Visagi in back straight is P8, 0.3 ahead of Mike McGear. Constant de Laporte in Stanek is P3, 0.5 ahead of Michael Rust. Dylan Visagi is 8th, 0.3 ahead of Mike McGear. Dylan Visagi is on P2P. Gerhard Niemand ahead is on P2P. Danny van Rooyen is P10. Remaining in the session. Danny van Rooyen is on P2P. Constant de Laporte in Stanek is P3, 0.5 ahead of Michael Rust. South Africa in kink is P82, P2P left, 0.7 ahead of Mike McDeer. Constant de Laporte is third, 0.5 ahead of Michael Rust. Constant de Laporte is on P2P. Michael Rust behind is on P2P. Danny Van Rooyen in start finish is 10th, 0 P2P left, 0.9 behind Sean Olivier. Constant de Laporte from Italy in start finish is third, 6 P2P left, 0.4 ahead of Michael Rust. Constant de Laporte is on P2P. Danny Van Rooyen in Sabat on lap 10 is 10th, 0.7 behind Sean Olivier. Sean Olivier ahead is on P2P. Constant de Laporte in Stanek is third. Michael Rust ahead is on P2P. Danny Van Rooyen from Netherlands is P10, 0.8 behind Sean Olivier. Sean Olivier ahead is on P2P. Sean Olivier in back straight is 9th, 0 P2P left, 0.9 behind Dylan Visagi. Danny Van Rooyen on lap 12 is 10th, 1.0 behind Sean Olivier. Sean Olivier from South Africa in kink is 9th, 0.5 behind Dylan Visagi. Dylan Visagi ahead is on P2P. Danny Van Rooyen in back straight is 10th. Best lap is a 1:14.599. Sean Olivier in Continental on lap 13 is 9th, 0.5 behind Dylan Visagi. Danny Van Ruyen in Malmesbury Straight is 10th, 0.6 behind Sean Olivier. The leader has just finished the race. Tihan van Ruyen from South Africa finished P1. Gerhard Niemann finished 6th. Dylan Visagie finished P8. Sean Olivier finished 9th. Danny van Ruyen finished 10th. Danny van Ruyen finished 10th. Mike McPeer finished 7th. Ernest Heather finished 5th. Lyle Ramsey finished P12. Jonathan Visser finished 15th. Michael Rust finished 2nd. Janine Glad finished P17. Constant de la Porte finished 3rd. Willy Van Wyck finished P13. Ryan van der Westhuizen finished 4th. Brendan Gryasel finished P11. Tommy Glad is P14. Tommy Glad finished 14th.